So, good morning again. So, what was I thinking about this morning? Because, man, does my mind drift. But actually, I was thinking, so I was doing readings at Laloon. Some people come in. But sometimes you just have a recognition. Well, you know, I have read Aristotle. I read Poetics by Aristotle, and I don't remember anything about it except for one thing. There was a word that popped up that stuck with me. Probably going to pronounce it wrong because it's Greek, but I've always just called it Anagnorisis. Or Anagnorisis, but Anagnorisis is probably what it is. And essentially what it means, it's the quote-unquote startling discovery that produces a change from ignorance to knowledge. A startling change that produces a change from ignorance to knowledge. So one of the things about doing live tarot, and why I find it's important to actually practice, if somebody's going to learn the tarot, a lot of times we do it for ourselves. And we can get the Anagnorisis. We can see a revelation in there. It's a Rorschach test. It's one of those things where we look at it and we're pattern seeking people, and we see a pattern and it's like, oh. But when you see that in another person, you know, that's what really makes it worthwhile for me. To sit there and lay out a couple spreads and just talk to somebody and see this light bulb go off in their eye. You know, the light bulb goes off, the Anagnorisis pops up, and it's amazing when there's a connection like that. And that is probably what keeps me going back and makes it worthwhile to drive an hour away to go to a lovely little shop and just sit back and do readings for people. It's to see that Anagnorisis, that connection, that light bulb. So, yep, that's what I was thinking about this morning. And he was actually talking about in drama, so that's why it's called Poetics, but writing a good drama and having that realization. So, feet firmly planted on the ground. Shoulders relaxed, necks relaxed, breathing. Listening to the cards like they're the sounds of the ocean. Taking a few minutes here for our daily inventory. Check in with the universe. See if there's any angers or resentments. See if there's anything that we need to look at today. Any triggers, so that if something pops up, we don't just immediately react and get angry. Maybe today just this little discussion will be something that makes us go, oh, that's what Anagnorisis means. The little revelation. It's like, oh, well, I'm not going to let this person trigger me today. So what does the universe have for us today? So here's my 3 stacks. Each one a different thread going out to the universe. Each one a different conversation or thought. And if we believe in the multiverse, each one of these is a different path, because this discussion will lead us down one path. This one will take us down a different path. Whichever path we choose, we're leaving 2 paths behind. So today, let's go with the center here. Let's go with what's right at the heart. Almost had a jumper there, but that's the top card, so let's see where that goes. So we're going to do our 3 and 1. I'm going to take a breath. And I'm going to flip the cards over one at a time like they're the pages of a book. Wheel of Fortune. Change. The one thing that does not change is change. So, let's see what the next card is. Okay, so we have two majors that pop up. So minor cards, the ones that are numbered cards, the cups, the coins, the wands. I call those the day-to-day cards. Those are the cards that are just things that pop up normally throughout the day. But when we have majors, those are the destiny cards. Those are the ones we pay attention to. And this is saying to be aware of a change. And the next card being death is about a transition. It's about letting something die so something new can grow. It's about acceptance that, things have to change sometimes. It's difficult. And then the Ace of Wands, and I always call aces, they're the seeds. So aces are ones. They're new ideas. They're something new. So wands are creativity. Wands are fire. Wands are energy. Wands are the passion. So just looking at this right here, with death sitting right here in the middle, it reminds us that change happens. But even though something old has to die, a seed's going to pop up. A new seed, something new is going to arise from this. And we get a chance to mold it. We get a chance to watch it grow. It's not easy to let something go, and that's why it's called death. But sometimes it's like ripping the Band-Aid off, so that the wound can get fresh air. It's about letting go and breathing and finding acceptance. So let's take a look at the acceptance card. The acceptance card. Wow. There are no coincidences. So this is the advice card. But let's take a breath here for a second, because the advice card is temperance. Everybody goes through that sense of loss. How we react to it is what's important. With the Ace of Wands, it's seen as a new beginning. It's a transition. It is a chance to plant that seed, because something new is about to sprout. And so the advice card being the temperance card. Temperance is what? Temperance is when you take two cups. One of them has wine, the other has water. If you don't want to overindulge, you mix them so that you have a balance between the two. And that's why we have our cups like this. And you see statues doing this in Italy. It's because we don't want to overreact. We don't want to lash out. Change is going to happen. It's one of those things where it can be a beautiful thing once we accept the change. Once we realize that things happen for a reason. Once we realize the only thing that I actually have from my childhood, I don't have any I don't have any pictures, I don't have any toys, I don't have anything. The only thing that I have from my childhood, and so I reference it a lot, is my book on Helen Keller's book. It's a book of quotes by her. Silly as that is, but it's like I must be 3 years old and scribbling on inside of it. But she's also the one that says, and I'm not religious at all, but it just sticks with you. God doesn't close one door without opening another. So today it's about acceptance of change, realizing that unless we plow a field, we're not going to be able to plant our seeds. If we don't clear away the debris of our past, if we don't accept a situation that it needs to change, we need to change, even if it feels like I'm dying on the inside sometimes. Unless we clear a space, we can't plant the seed. If we don't clear the space, then it's just going to be overgrown. It's going to keep growing like weeds. We can want to have a new seed sprout all we want, but it's not going to happen. That seed's going to get lost and wither until we clear away the past. And with the advice card of temperance, and again, that is a major, so it's something we pay attention to. It's about finding a center. It's about anagnorisis. It's about acceptance. It's about that light bulb going off, that connection, that all of a sudden our eyes are opened and we realize that it's time to clear out that space so a new seed can be sown. It's time to clear out the old. It's time to have a new way of thinking. And I'm just emphasizing because for today, it's 3 out of 4 are majors. And the other important thing to keep in mind with this is that this deck has reversals in it. There are reversals in this deck. And we have the 4 major, we have these 4 cards. They're all upright. And so it's about finding the positive in change. And so with that, and I love this deck too. It's the Crow Tarot. So this weekend, let's focus on that word anagnorisis, because it's funny how sometimes what I'm thinking is what ends up popping up in the tarot, in the decks. Because it is about the change. It is, as I looked up the definition, the startling discovery that produces a change from ignorance to knowledge. The startling discovery that produces a change from ignorance to knowledge. So, let's think about this today. And let's recognize. And from there, I want to say thank you again for these last couple of months, for being here, inspiring me to get up in the morning and do this. And I am looking forward to coming back on Monday and seeing everybody again. So again, thank you so much. And I hope you have a good weekend. Take care.